Hey, what's going on everybody? Ace here, and before we begin the video today, I wanted to apologize for being so vacant when it comes to uploading videos. I've been very busy as of late, busy with work and juggling a social life, and in between that is working on scripts and such for future reviews. I know it's been almost a couple months since my last one, but I'm really working towards something new and different for the channel, so it's going to probably be another few weeks before I get anything out. So please be patient, more stuff will arrive. But in the meantime, I actually wanted to try something new, is a first impressions video. Basically, if I can't really have any inspiration when it comes to doing a written review or a micro review, I'll sit down, play a game for a few hours, and if I can't think of anything for a normal review like what has been posted on the channel, I'll sit down, pull my camera out, and talk about it. And today's game is going to be Yooka-Laylee. This is a title that I've actually been very, very excited for ever since it was teased, God, I don't know how many years, like 2-3 years ago. And it recently was released just a few days ago. And I've had a chance to sit down and play it for a few days. And overall, I think the game is good. It's not incredible by any means, but it's pretty good. My nostalgia goggles for this aren't as stuck to my face as most people. When it comes to 3D collectathon like platformers similar to Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, Super Mario 64, yada yada yada, those kind of games. I did enjoy those growing up, but I never really had much of an attachment to basically what this game is a spiritual successor to, Banjo-Kazooie. Never really grew up playing those games. More or less, I didn't even know of Banjo-Kazooie until about 2005. Never really had much of an attachment, but I do love Banjo-Kazooie now. It's one of my favorite old school games from way back in the day. I'd probably play that over Mario 64 if I had the choice, and I do, and I've played Banjo-Kazooie more times than I'd like to admit. But today we're going to be talking about Yooka-Laylee, what it does right, what it does wrong, my personal opinions on it. And this game has a lot of controversy built around it. A lot of people are giving it a lot of hate for it being too old school, I guess, is the best way for me to put it. And there are some things that I do agree with some consumers of the product, and there are some that I don't agree with. Basically starts off similar to that of Banjo-Kazooie, where you see the bad guy and his big evil plan. Capital B is the main antagonist of the game alongside his partner, Dr. Quack. Dr. Quack. A duck in a fishbowl, basically. And they're planning to steal all the books in the world, and they're after this one book that both Yooka and Laylee found on their little pirate ship that they call home. And that's basically where the adventure begins. Pages instead of jiggies are scattered around the world. There's quills to collect. Basically, Yooka and Laylee are off to save these pages and stop Capital B from taking over the world. The story itself is basic, but I like it for what the game is. The game's not trying to really do anything new besides introduce new characters into the world of gaming. So for what it does, I think it's a decent story. I haven't really gotten that far in the game yet. It's more of, for me, just something that I can sit down and play if I have really nothing to do in between writing scripts and working and such. As for the good, the gameplay itself is a lot of fun. I really enjoy rolling around. Fighting enemies is a little wonky at times, but I enjoy the combat. I also enjoy flying around. I recently got the ability to glide. I love flying around, finding collectibles. Meeting some of these characters is very interesting. A lot of these are very cleverly designed characters, and as it should be, they're made... The past company, people who worked on Banjo-Kazooie worked on this game as well, and they put a lot of heart and soul into this project, something they love, and it really shows through these characters. The designs are... Some of them are simple, like the clouds, and some of them are really, really interesting, like Trouser the Snake. Really? Trouser the Snake is probably one of my favorite characters in the game design-wise. It's so simple yet so clever. They basically just took a snake, made him into a horseshoe, and put pants on him with a little hat and a cell phone that he pulls out of him. So it's an interesting design for a character that really should be something a little different, but the way they worked around it was so good. It's so good. Another design that I really like, they're simple but they're adorable and effective, is Yooka-Laylee, where like Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo was a bear wearing a backpack and shorts, and he had Kazooie in the backpack. That was a clever design. I feel like they took a step back, but I still, in the design-wise, but I still like the design of Yooka-Laylee. Yooka especially. Oh my god, the way they designed this character is just cool. I'm mostly talking about how he can eat these certain fruits, and it resembles what kind of ability that he gets on the orange bits of his body, like his fingers, his frill, his spines, tail, stuff like that. They'll glow like a certain color, like if you eat a fire fruit, his frills glow orange. If you eat an ice fruit, they glow light blue. There's water fruit where he can just spit on things, and his frills turn a dark blue. I think that's a really interesting take on what a chameleon does, where it changes color, but they made it, instead of, you know, his whole body changing color, just like certain aspects of him change color when he eats certain fruits. I thought that was really cool, and I know later on the characters will become invisible, but just that design-wise is really cool to me. Another thing that I like about this is the worlds are actually really big, and they're full of things to do. Despite people saying that there's absolutely nothing to do, it's really all about, if you want to do the tasks at hand, just go from point A to point B. And if you're looking for more to do, and there are some things to find around the world, to be honest, they're a little widespread. They're a little spread out, and it's kind of easy to lose things. But I really like the designs of these worlds. They're just huge. Ivory Tower, however, is a little meh to me. Overall, like, basically what you do, you go inside of books instead of these paintings built like puzzles from Banjo-Kazooie. You go into these books, and the more pages you add to this book, the more the world expands. So you basically have a choice. If you want to expand a world, you can just throw a few more pages in there, and the world just gets bigger. It's really cool. I guess it's really time to talk about the problems that I have with the game. They're not too terrible, but they are very small annoyances. For instance, the camera itself. Okay, 3D platformers usually have a really bad camera. Well, not necessarily really bad, but there are problems. Yooka-Laylee is no exception. The camera itself, there was a point where I got stuck. The camera gets stuck underneath a platform while I was running around trying to fix it, and I think I got hit, and that's what reset it. There are some aspects like the boss fight with this giant wall where you have to go up this ramp. There's a point literally where you have to roll up the ramp, and the camera inverts. So when you're trying to go forward, if you go through one camera angle into another, you're going to go back out that way, and then you're going to have to keep going back and forth until you can stop and reset yourself. It's not horrible, it's just frustrating at times. Another thing that really bothers me about this is the voice acting, or lack thereof. Something that honestly shouldn't bug me as much, because Banjo-Kazooie does the same thing. It just, some of these voices are very annoying, and I don't know why. I can't get my head around it. It's like some of them are... I like Yuka's little banter. I like Laylee. Another one that I really just don't like is... I forget. I think it's Capital B's voice. I don't like his. The duck's okay. It's a little irritating at times. But other than that, just some of the voice acting is a little meh. Another one that I really don't like, and something that's really probably my biggest issue, are some of these mini-games that are introduced through Rextro's Arcade, which Rextro is another character that I actually really like the design of, and his little backstory that he gives when you first meet him. I like the character, it's just some of these games are garbage. The one minigame that I got stuck on was that little racing minigame, and to get 2 pages from him, you have to play the game first and beat it beat the game basically, and then the second one you have to get beat Rextro's high score to really just get both pages. And the high score part is so hard because this game is so hard to control. There's a lot of things that you swear you'll hit, but if you hit that before it disappears, you get hit, and that just sends you right back. It's too easy to fly off the edges. You basically have to practice and practice until it gets perfect. Not necessarily a bad thing when it comes to certain games, but for this one, it's very irritating, and all I wanted to do was just throw my controller. I guess you could argue that it's trying to emulate the early days of gaming, because some of those are just bad, but I think they should have tweaked it just a little bit so it's just a little bit easier to get a handle of, and a little easier to get to the end goal that you've set for yourself. I can't really think of anything else to talk about this game. Overall, it's a decent game as what I would think it would be. It's a good game. For me, personally, and people like the Completionist, I saw his review on it, and I agreed with some of the points that he made, and some I didn't really agree with. And a lot of these who are just trashing this game really shouldn't be trashing it as bad as they are. There are a lot of good points this game makes, but like some of those say, there are some blunders. But overall, I'd say this game is a decent game. Is it worth $40? Probably not. I'd probably pick it up if it were a little cheaper along the line. I'd say about 6 months the price will go down, and then I can recommend picking it up. But if you happen to know someone who owns it or have a store that still lets you rent video games near you, I highly recommend you go pick that up and try it out for yourself, see if you like it. If not, don't worry about it. It's well worth the wait for a price drop. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here, guys. If you guys like this sort of content and you want to see more of this, of just me sitting in front of the camera talking with a little gameplay footage in the background or on the screen at the same time, please let me know in the comment section below. And if you're new to this channel and want to see more high quality reviews, a little more extra, a little more goofy, then feel free to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to notify yourself of when I upload, like 3 years down the line. Go ahead and leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of Yooka-Laylee. If you have any other games that you want me to sit down and talk about, if I have them in the collection, please let me know in the comment section below as well. And that is all the time I'm going to have for today, so I thank you all once again for watching this video. If you want, you can watch a review that I've done for the holiday season, Darksiders, or you can sit right over here and watch my top 3 best and worst games of 2016, and right in the middle somewhere you can subscribe to the channel. So I'm gonna get going, guys, so I hope you all have a wonderful day and take care. Bye bye.